everyone. I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Jessica.
And you're listening to Clean With Me,
the podcast where we walk you through cleaning your house.
Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, I'm going to talk you through some minimums and just get you started on some housework. This episode would be great for a morning or evening routine where you've got some dishes in the sink and maybe a messy entrance area of your home. Let's get right into the episode. I am also going to be talking about making changes in your life and just the importance of that, because I'm going through some major changes in my life. I've been in a rut for a while. I've been unhappy for a while, and I'm definitely turning over a new leaf in a lot of different areas. But right now it's time to gear up for your cleaning session. Maybe you need to freshen up a little bit, put on something that you feel good wearing, wash your face, put your hair up, whatever you need to do to feel presentable. You might also want to light a candle or put some fresh wax in the wax warmer. I am recording this in the springtime, and I was just talking about this the other day. This is the time of year where you open your windows, depending on the climate, obviously, and where you are. But for a lot of us, this is the time of year where we open our windows and air out the house while cleaning, and that feels good. I like doing that. I plan to do that today. If it doesn't get too hot, that is. It might get a little hot for that. So I probably should have started earlier if I was going to air out my house while cleaning. But the next thing I want you to do is just straighten up your entrance area. This is probably different for different people, but since my living room's my front room and entrance, I like to straighten that up a little bit before I head to the kitchen and do dishes. Yesterday, I got home. My middle daughter's staying with me right now, and I knew I was going to go home and do dishes. It felt good because I walked in and she had cleaned and vacuumed the living room, so I was able to skip that step and head straight to the kitchen. But when I'm the one who's home alone and it's on me, I like to straighten up that front room first. That way, just if my husband gets home, because he might pop in unexpectedly during the day or whatever, I want him to have a good impression of that entrance area. And it just helps me to feel relaxed knowing that that front part is clean. I just like to start at the front and then kind of work my way back, with the kitchen being the second step. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to straighten up. But yeah, I might be going through a midlife crisis. I'll talk about it more on the bonus episodes. I don't like to get super raw and personal on these episodes, but I will say this: if you're not happy, make a change and take steps to improve your day-to-day life. I guess what I'm saying is, as women, we put ourselves last a lot of times. And yes, prioritizing other people's needs and being selfless is a good thing. But the old adage, it's not really an old adage, it's a thing, where you're supposed to put the oxygen mask on yourself first if you're traveling with a child, because if you pass out, you're not going to be able to help your child. Well, that's true in life, and we have to remind ourselves about self-care as women, because we have a tendency to just be giving and just give. I'm not saying this to feel sorry for myself, and I'm not saying I'm the most giving person and that everything I do is for everyone else, but sometimes we do too much, and I've just been doing too much, and it's time to take better care of myself. And so I'm on a journey to turn over a new leaf, and I'm excited about it. I will tell you one thing that I did. I quit my job. And no, I'm not making a fortune with this podcast. I do appreciate my financial supporters, but my husband got restored to his previous position at work. He had taken a lesser position after his heart attack. So that's how I was able to quit, but I still consider myself a work from home mom because this podcast is now my job. I know I've talked about that for a while. I've thought about it for a while, but I've finally taken the plunge and it feels good, but that only scratches the surface of the changes that I'm going to be making in my life. So tune in sometime tomorrow for a longer bonus episode where I talk more about my own situation. For now, I've given you a couple minutes to straighten up that front entrance area. It doesn't take long. Let's move on to doing the dishes. Maybe you need to gather up some dishes from around the house. No judgment here. If there is a certain place in your house where there might be a cup, a plate, or even several items, now's the time to just gather those up. If they've been sitting a long time, you might need to get them soaking, but let's at least get those to the kitchen, because there's just something so disheartening about cleaning the kitchen with just whatever's in there and then leaving the room to find something else. You don't want that to happen. So definitely make sure you bring everything into the kitchen before you begin washing dishes. Another thing I like to do before washing dishes, obviously I can talk faster than you can clean, so you don't feel like you have to do everything I'm talking about. I'm just giving you ideas of what to work on while listening. The important thing is that you're moving throughout the episode and ideally working in whichever room I'm talking about, which right now I'm talking about bringing dishes to the kitchen and then working in there. Of course, if you don't have a backlog of dishes to do or even a meal's worth of dishes to do, this would be a great time to just do some deep cleaning of the surfaces in your kitchen. But for a lot of us, dishes happen. We've got that day-to-day maintenance to take care of before we can really get to the real cleaning. The struggle is real. So what I usually do after getting everything to the kitchen is I just start straightening up, because just mentally I want to see a less cluttered area. I want to work in an area that's less cluttered. So oftentimes I will start clearing off my island, putting seasonings away, throwing away trash, just moving things over to the sink area and clearing surfaces so that when I start the dishes, all that's left after I do the dishes is to wipe down surfaces in the kitchen. That's just kind of how I roll. And I like my house I like to do things in an order where my house is looking better and better, kind of like I would if somebody was coming over, but I do it even when I'm not expecting anyone. I tend to prioritize in the same way most times. Obviously, I have some episodes where we clean in reverse and start in the room or whatever, but start in the bedroom, but this isn't one of those episodes. This is one of my typical routines where I need to get my house under control. This is where I start. Straighten the front entrance, gather dishes, straighten the kitchen, and then do the dishes. And for a lot of us, the first step is to put away clean dishes. That's why I've coined the phrase empty, reload, and run regarding my dishwasher. But I'll take it a step further. You may need to empty both a dishwasher and a drying rack or drying pad. I just remembered my husband wants me to get a new drying rack. I had gotten rid of my drying rack because it just had kind of like hard water deposits or something. It just didn't look good after I cleaned it, and it was an eyesore, so I got rid of it. I mean, you didn't really see it when the dishes were in it, but when it was empty, it just didn't look good. So I got rid of it and was just going back to using the drying pads, but he was like, "Where's the thing?" And then he's like, and I told him I got rid of it. He's like, "Well, then get another one." So anyway, I am going to go ahead and get another drying rack. So that'll be kind of fun to pick one out, I think. One of the things that keeps me motivated about housework is just getting new tools and things like that. kind of pampering myself in that way. So anyway, let's put away any clean dishes. And then, of course, you might want to get some things soaking. I mentioned you might have things that needed to be soaking that were maybe forgotten in a bedroom somewhere, a teenager's room or something. Or you might have a pot or a pan with kind of dried on food from cooking. The best way to kind of kick off your dishwashing session after you've put everything away that's clean is to pre-rinse these heavily soiled items and then get them soaking. And my little trick for that is to drop a dishwasher pod into the dishwater when I fill the sink up with hot water and liquid dish soap. So that's definitely a way that I like to get started. Get those things soaking. It's how I've been doing it lately. And then I will start loading the dishwasher. For some of you, this method might not necessarily work. If you were completely hand washing, your version of this could be to fill your pots and pans up with hot soapy water. Maybe if something's heavily soiled, drop a dish pot in there. Get those soaking just on the countertop, or if you have a little dish pan, you can buy a little plastic dish pan if you need a different basin other than your sink. Get those soaking. And then your first sink load is probably going to be things like glasses and silverware. Okay? That's kind of my order of operations when I'm in a situation where I'm going to be hand washing. But a lot of us have dishwashers. I took a survey a while back. Most of you are using a dishwasher. So I'll talk about that. I will fill my sink up, and that's where I'll be soaking the heavily soiled items. Then I'm going to load my dishwasher with items that just need a quick pre-rinse in the other side of the sink under running water. So I'll grab my dishwashing brush on a handle and start rinsing and scrubbing things out and placing them into the dishwasher. Funny thing, I was talking to someone whose mother-in-law was staying with her, and this person, I guess the mother-in-law was babysitting. I'm not going to give too many details, but let's just say the mother-in-law was in charge for a time, for whatever reason, and she just stuck things into the dishwasher haphazardly, like it wasn't strategic at all, and to the point where it would block the little door from opening on the soap container. If someone else, that's an awkward situation because it's a mother-in-law, but if you're having like your kids load the dishwasher or something, make sure that they know like the rules, how you like things positioned and organized, because let's face it, I don't care how nice your dishwasher is, if you load it in some ridiculous way, the stuff's not going to get clean. And some dishwashers have a built-in garbage disposal, and they just work really well, and you can just kind of put things in that are kind of dirty. But for a lot of us, we've got to do a really good pre-rinse under running water with a brush. And that's for the items that will come clean easily, and then we're soaking some other stuff in the meantime. So that's kind of what I do. I just want to talk about dishes while you're doing dishes. And so, yeah, I really am trying to pamper myself right now because I'm just going through some hard times. I guess mentally, I don't want to sound like I'm mentally unstable or something, but we all go through times where we're upset about something and we need self-care, I guess, more than usual. Okay? There are always things you should be doing to take care of yourself, eating right and getting enough rest and, buying what you need to feel pretty. Yes, that's stuff you should do all the time, but sometimes you need a little bit of extra self-care. I just did some retail therapy, got a new dress, and it felt good. I just want to feel good right now. And guess what else was in my shopping cart? Lots of paper plates. That's a priority for some of us folks. So anyway, I hope by now you are working on those dishes and just plugging away at those. But I wanted to just kind of remind you of something that we've all heard, but we need this reminder. There's that saying where the definition of insanity, or one definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results. If you're having trouble cleaning your kitchen or keeping your kitchen clean, you may need different tools. You may need a different schedule as far as when you're doing your dishes. You may need to buy paper plates. You may need to do the dishes more often during the day so that you're not overwhelmed with a big stack. No judgment here if you're facing a disaster, but sometimes you need to just sit down and think about what is bothering you, what obstacles you're facing, and, brainstorm some ideas to solve these issues. Sometimes you need to, if you're the type of person who likes to talk things out, sometimes it's good to bounce these ideas off of a friend or a close family member. Hey, I don't know what it is, but I'm just having trouble. There's always these bowls with dried on top ramen and cereal. I'm laughing because someone posted on one of my social media accounts, that she'll never get tired of hearing me talk about that person who left some dried on top ramen on a bowl. But that is kind of like a little, pet peeve of mine that happens at our house. And you've got things like that too. But let's think of a solution for it. And not all problems are solvable. Some things we're going to just deal with. I guess I've kind of changed my stance on that just while you're doing dishes. I'm going to give you a few more minutes to do your dishes. If you're done, obviously move on to surfaces in your kitchen. But I've kind of changed my stance on how I'm handling the situation with the bowls. Life is about trying different things and figuring out what works. Okay, that's the theme of this episode, making changes in your life. From small things to just how you're doing dishes to like big changes like where you work or, other things that I'll discuss in the bonus episode. So anyway, I found out that the kids don't like eating soups out of a paper bowl because it's hot and the soup doesn't taste the same. The bowl's hot. It just, as it turns out, it's not that practical. I had said, from now on, I know I said this in an episode, from now on, I'm always going to buy paper plates and paper bowls. The paper bowl thing didn't work out. I realized that it just didn't work out. So the way and yes, people are still supposed to wash their bowl by hand if they do cereal or top ramen. Those are meals that kids make themselves, as snacks or whatever. They are required to wash those. But if they don't, I'm just soaking those in that beginning stage where I'm soaking a few pots and pans at the beginning of a cleaning session. I just get those soaking if someone did forget to deal with one. And yeah, if they're home, I'm probably going to say something. But I've quit stressing on it or whatever and scrubbing. Just soak those now. And then it only takes a few minutes and they're ready to, wash with the scrub brush and put into the dishwasher. So I am definitely sticking with the paper plate thing though, because everyone is fine with using paper plates. Absolutely. I'll admit when I bring my husband a plate of food and it's a really nice meal, I will often just present it to him on an actual plate because it's just one plate and I feel like it's a nicer presentation. But the way I have everybody else using paper plates is I just keep them on top of the regular plates. But the importance of using the paper plates is that it frees up the bottom rack of my dishwasher. I like everything to fit in the dishwasher, including that pot or pan that I've pre-soaked at the beginning of a cleaning session, because the opposite of a disaster is when everything can fit into one dishwasher load. It's great. It's how I try to operate most times. Obviously, things come up. There could be a day where nobody does any housework and then the next day it's a disaster. It happens. Life happens. But more often than not, everything's fitting into the dishwasher because I'm not filling that bottom rack up with plates. There's like maybe one plate and that's it, if that. I do serve him on a paper plate depending on what it is, but if I feel like he's going to be cutting something with a knife or whatever, I'll give him a real plate. So anyway, that's what's going on with our dishwashing routine. It's been going pretty well. I mentioned my middle daughter staying with me. She does dishes too. So there are just plenty of people to help in that area. So that's running pretty smoothly. But if you're struggling with your system of how you run your kitchen, the turnaround time on when you do dishes, how you do dishes, even just the tools you use to do dishes, it might be time to make a change. In fact, there was a time when I had a working dishwasher like I do now, but I decided that we were going to switch to hand washing for a while because it would force us to keep up on things. I've definitely experimented, and if what you're doing isn't working, I want you to experiment too. Hopefully by now your dishes are done. No judgment here if you're going to use this entire episode to just get caught up on a backlog of dishes. It happens. But for most of us, it's time to work on cleaning the surfaces in your kitchen. Okay. Wiping down the stove, the back of the stove. Maybe you need to take apart burners if it's not a glass cooktop. Wiping down your countertops. My friend recently showed me something that I never knew even existed, and I so want to purchase these. She has like these plastic guards on the sides of her range, like where the stovetop meets the countertop, how there's cracks in there and crumbs and food can fall in those cracks. She has these plastic guards that prevent anything from falling in there. I absolutely love that because, who wants to worry about food dropping in there and trying to clean that out or, especially having to move the stove. You worry about it, the food attracting pests, all sorts of things. And these guards are just the solution. So I've got to ask her again where she got those. I don't remember if it was Home Depot or Lowe's or something. I'm going to have to ask her. It just popped into my head just now, but I so want to get those. I think it's amazing. Especially if you've got like kids cooking or you're like me and you're just kind of a messy cook. Food's flying sometimes and it can end up in those cracks and then it's a hassle to clean those. But I often wipe a disinfecting wipe around like a butter knife and kind of clean in that groove. But that doesn't solve the problem of stuff falling. Then we have to pull out the stove and sweep that up. So the guards will make it to where you can go a lot longer before moving your stove. Let's put it that way. So I thought that was a neat idea. I don't even know exactly what they're called. Maybe you can comment on my social media if you know about the guards, like on Clean With Me podcast on Facebook or something. If you know about the guards, comment somewhere, maybe on this episode that you know what they are, like post a link or tell us where you got them or what they're called or something like that. Or Jennifer, if you're listening, you can be the one to comment since you're the one who told me about this. So yeah, that's a thought there. And of course, we're wiping down the countertops, the island, the kitchen table, the sink, the area behind the sink. You know what needs to be wiped down in your kitchen, but there might be some bonus tasks needed. Look around. Is there a smudge on a wall? Do you need to scrub your white pantry door like I have to keep doing? You're also going to want to wipe down the fronts of your appliances. I hadn't used this product in a while, but I kind of revisited this Pledge multi-surface spray because it works well for wiping down the stainless steel appliances and the appliances with windows, like the front of your microwave, the front of your stove. It also works on countertops. You can use it on sealed granite. And it works on everything. And so sometimes I'm in a mode where I'm like using kind of a natural spray. I think that's more when and by the way, all of these products, if you go to cleanwithmepodcast.com and click the link about products, you can purchase these products on Amazon, and then I'll get a little commission if you go through my link. But I use the Myers spray that's like a lemon verbena scent for when I'm kind of cleaning just around things, like maybe food's being prepared on one side of the kitchen, or I have clean dishes in the drying rack. I'll want to be using something more natural, or if I know somebody's going to make a pizza on the island or something like that. I'm big on using cutting boards. I don't really love working directly on a countertop, but some people do. Obviously rinse it well with water so there's not a cleaning product if you're going to be working on the top like that. But I use just a large cutting board for things like rolling out pizza dough or whatever. But other times I'm just in a mode where I have everything put away, everything, decluttered, and I'm just spraying with that Pledge. I've gotten back into that just because it does such a great job on like the stainless steel, the glass, and it's just so versatile. You can use that. You can use that on your wooden furniture. You can use it everywhere. But I have a link to that on my website, cleanwithmepodcast.com. It's one of those things where I'm like an Amazon affiliate, and I get a small commission if you go through my link when buying stuff. And the stuff's the same price as it would be if you had just searched for it on your own. You see what I'm saying? So that's greatly appreciated. But no problem if you don't use the same products that I have there. I plan to expand that list too, to give you even more options of products to get. So hopefully you've wiped down your countertops and appliances, and it might be time to sweep your kitchen floor. Obviously, you kind of clean from the top down, and crumbs can happen that way. And so maybe you want to sweep during this episode, or maybe you plan to like sweep or vacuum while listening to some music after the show. If you're not sweeping your kitchen, which I feel would be a really good thing to do right now, but if you're not, you might want to head to your bedroom, make the bed, maybe make sure there's a clean towel hanging up for someone's shower later. Maybe straighten up a bathroom or a bedroom or your laundry room. Maybe you need to start a load of laundry and then set a timer reminding you to do that laundry switch. I'm just really big on getting the machines running. I'm kind of excited right now because I just got a larger capacity washer and dryer. I ended up kind of trading with someone, sort of. I mean, I upgraded and I'm going to pay them, but I got a better washer and dryer, and I'm super excited about that. And yeah, that could be a positive change. I wasn't really planning on it, but it just I kind of fell into this new washer and dryer, used but new to me. But I will say, like, if you're struggling with too many loads of laundry, that might be a necessary change in your life. If you can afford it, switching to a larger capacity washer and dryer so that you can put more in at once. And here's the thing. To make other people happy, you've got to do a little bit for yourself. You've got to make your own life easier. And everybody has different tools that they need. It's not the same for everybody. Okay? Some of you need paper plates and a larger capacity washer and dryer. Some of you have something else that you need that maybe I haven't thought of, but maybe it's coming to your mind right now. Take care of yourself. Pamper yourself. If you need new clothes, obviously I'm not saying to just, ruin your finances every time you're having a bad day, but sometimes we deserve these things and we need these things. And, maybe you need to go on a trip to Walmart, get some paper plates, get a new dress, get a Mountain Dew, okay? Whatever you feel like. I don't know if this is a midlife crisis or if I just realized that I haven't been prioritizing myself, But I'm going to be making so many changes. And like I said in tomorrow's episode, I'm going to talk more about things that I want to start doing differently. And it's also going to be a longer episode for getting your whole house clean. And if you're wondering about longer episodes, if you prefer longer episodes, definitely subscribe to bonus content, because I'm planning to make those bonus episodes mostly long ones going forward. So that's something I'm changing, the way I'm doing the show. I want to provide more value for those who are generously supporting. But keep in mind, I don't expect anyone to sign up for the paid episodes, but I just sure appreciate it when someone does. And you can find everything you need on these free episodes by going back and listening to the old ones or whatever. But some of you like fresh, new content on almost a daily basis, and I'm wanting to provide that with the by producing more bonus episodes that talk about more, that go a little bit more personal and have you clean for longer periods. So I hope you got a lot done during this episode. I look forward to telling you more about the changes I'm making in tomorrow's bonus episode. As always, happy cleaning, and I'll talk to you soon.